Well, how's everyone been? Oh, I thought that I would do a video today. I took 30 days off of being online more than a few hours a week to be able to do things I wanted to do, like working in my garden, traveling, working on the yard, enjoying the weather, even though some days it was a roller coaster ride. And yesterday, we had wonderful Father's Day, just like our Mother's Day was wonderful. So, I had some reflections on some things in my past. And I thought that I would share my thoughts because everyone's life is different, everyone's beliefs are different, and maybe it will help you in some way, maybe it won't. See, I believe when I look back on my childhood that my mother was very unwell her whole life. She was so fragile, needing to lay on the couch after any physical exertion. As soon as I was old enough, I was her backup to help her or do it for her. I know it was common for women to take on these caring roles, leaving their professional life behind for marriage or to raise their children in her era. But was that really her choice? She had no choice, no other option but surrender. You know, this is really hard, isn't it, to try and share reflections of the past. I just thought I'd have a little chat about the exhaustion of life, I suppose. I find now that I'm in my mid-60s, I sometimes have this mental exhaustion from how society stereotypes not only women, but men and the different age groups or ethnic backgrounds. It's abnormal. I've never really felt anything like it, and I don't think you can understand until you feel the same stress. I don't think there's any underlying issues. I'm pretty healthy, and I eat healthy, and I do my exercises, and I walk. But there is a tiredness that comes over me. It's just different, very different. And I guess it's just natural that we start slowing down after 50. I'm older now, just reflecting back on things. But I wonder, does anyone else have this mental exhaustion from social media, the news, the divide and conquer by generations? Before I used to say yes to helping others, been a real yes person, helping where I could, as I could. And I have changed to only helping family now. Family and close friends. The ones that I feel their pain. I'm one of those people. I exhaust myself finding ways to help others. it can be stressful. I think it's a common trait, especially for women. We tend to be very empathic, and we tend to be the caregivers, and we tend to always put others first. And I'm certainly guilty. I've done that my entire life. I've been caring for people since I was incredibly young. As I said, my mother was very unwell her whole life with health issues that I would find out later when I was taking care of her in my home, and because of other certain circumstances. I, at a very young age, was looking after my brother and my disabled sister, doing housework, laundry, and cooking from a very young age. I did as I was told. I never questioned it. It didn't leave time to be with friends except during school hours. Summer was the longest time, and usually the time I would get in a lot of trouble because my brother did something wrong while out and about in the neighborhood, and it was my fault because I wasn't looking after him. He had his ways of making my school life hard too. I think of many things and knew even then it was time to leave school and home and find my own way. And I did. I had my children young. I had my first at 18. And so by the time I was 21, I had 3 children. And I did work. I worked predominantly in some kind of health care work after a quick dissolution of my marriage. Childcare was hard to find and keep. Yeah, I did some private care work. I worked in a hospital. I worked at a doctor's office, but the money was bad for nurses back then. I chose higher paying manufacturer jobs, security jobs, store jobs, and even office jobs. Sometimes 2 at a time. Anything to pay the bill. But I did it for my children, whatever it took. And now, with my children being in their 40s, I still see them as my babies. You never stop seeing them as your kids, and you get drained hearing how life is for them with having children of their own and trying to hold a job when you did your best to help them get educated and do better than you did. I love my children. I don't regret my children. They are my absolute pride. I just get angry, I guess, from seeing how the government is doing American workers. It makes you feel like you were a terrible parent or something, and you suffer thinking it wasn't enough all you did. And now you help even if you are in retirement, even if it's pulling money out of your savings. So what's left of you at the end? I suppose what I'm saying, what's left, when you get to this stage in life and your kids are all grown up, but then of course if you got grandchildren, I have 8 grandchildren. We're a big family. So there's always someone that's got a crisis. There's always someone who's got a problem. Someone who's always got a worry. And it's really difficult to find where you fit into the world because you're only mom. You're only grandma. You're just a wife, a partner, whatever. But where do we as individuals fit in? I'm trying to say, I guess it's the feeling of losing yourself. And I know I was very much lost myself for decades. For decades, I completely lost myself and had no idea who I was or what I wanted. I was just mom. I was just a robot. I was just in automatic mode, survival mode. Just keep going. Just keep going. Keep everybody fed and clothed and the house clean and on and on. Just keep going. And it obviously takes its toll on your health. Excuse me. But when I hit my 40s and then was in my second marriage, which is a really happy marriage, my first was a very dangerous marriage, which obviously didn't help. But at 40, I started to find myself, and I found and did things that are about me, like traveling and taking college classes again. I'm sure we all have these phases in our lives where we reflect back on our experiences and knowledge to share those ideas with kindness because you were or are the breadwinner. Not always the case, but maybe you are. And in some way, you lost yourself on the way. You definitely do lose a lot of time with family, working several jobs. You lose your identity and become titles. Mom, grandma, wife, her master, multitasker. I mean, I didn't know who I was. And I did get at a crisis point. It's called menopause. So obviously, wham, you get that being a woman and you just kind of go, who am I? What am I? What's it all about? You feel redundant as a woman. Maybe feel like half a woman. Because you can no longer produce children. And yours are raised. I really didn't ponder it too much. It was time to be a grandmother. That made me feel old. I just couldn't deal with the thought that I was useless if I didn't have anyone to care for. So I started babysitting my grandchildren, who, in essence, were my playmates. I'm pretty sure other mothers have gone through a phase of life like that, where you just didn't know who you were anymore. All your titles are gone, so we get us a new title. And you know this is not a negative thing, because in my 60s, when they come around, I came to terms with the fact that I was in another new phase of my life. My grandchildren, my playmates, had to go to school. So that part of my life was done. I could not accept it. I talked to my friend one day. She pointed it out. She said, Deb, the key you need is to accept. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing stays the same. And I can remember going away thinking, well, I can accept. I've got no choice. You have no choice but to accept where you are, whatever you've done in your life, how you are about everything, your feelings, your thoughts, all these things you have to accept. You have no choice but to accept. But work it in your favor. After giving it long thoughts, I actually was cool after that. Because I knew as I accepted the phases of life that had happened to me, I was okay. I was able to move forward. And in my 50s, I really enjoyed life again. And I have really enjoyed being 60 plus. Even with slowing down and health issues and economic issues, I'm actually looking forward to even more liberating ideas each year to enhance many things in my life. Yeah, acceptance is the key, and accepting things you can't change about people, places, or things from the past. That you gotta move on. Don't look back for your own growth. I get it. I know for some people they can't move forward and they're stuck in bitterness or regrets. Some even blame other people for the phase they're in. I get it because everyone's different. I'm not getting stuck anywhere. I'm going to live in the moment and do the very, very best I can. Grateful for what I do have. And keep thinking. Do it now. Move on. Live. Because our tomorrows are not promised to us. I hope you're enjoying your day. And I want to thank everyone for being patient while I was going through, again, some different phases that I had to put myself in check. And I hope that you think about what I said today. I love you. Have a great day. Bye.